Mother said, there is a music just above our heads, waiting to descend. And it is seeking the right instruments through which it may come. Our bodies, which are her body, are those instruments. And so the Om choir began, because Om is the most powerful word in all the languages of the world since Earth began and man first appeared in this world. Om has the power of effectuation, of transformation, of healing. And when it comes through our bodies, when we open to the Divine Presence, the force flows through the cells of our bodies into the earth and heals and transforms and will change one day this earthly life into life divine, as he says in Savitri. So we must find the process by which we can open to this music, the process by which we can receive this powerful descent. And as she gave me this as my first Adesh in 1961, I have worked all these, well now it is almost 50 years, for the new music. And we have Om choirs in ashram, in Oroville, in Gujarat, in California, in New York, in Russia, in Australia, and one day my prayer is that there will be Om choirs all over the world. Not only in gatherings like this, but in businesses, factories, where before beginning work, the people will sing together, Om. And we will see this rapid transformation that the supramental is pushing up from below, exposing us to all of our failings, allowing us for the first time to face all of these problems of the world through the internet, and to know what is happening today in this country and that country immediately as it's happening. Now, we have ashram website, sriaurobindoashram.info, sriaurobindoashram.com. In 6 months, 2.5 million hits on Sri Aurobindo website. 2.5 million. I wonder how many books of Savitri have been sold in 50 years, 60 years. You see, now people have the opportunity to see Savitri on the website, and immediately, if it touches them, or Life Divine, or synthesis of yoga, essays on the Gita, whatever it may be. They can see something on the internet, then they will go and get the book. So all of these things are happening concurrently. Mother is strongly at work amongst us. She is moving us as fast as we can open to her. And so the Om choir is one vehicle to accelerate that opening. How do we begin? We must begin by the preparation of the body. Learn the different parts of the body that are used in singing. We have the breath, prana. But how do we breathe? Most of us don't even know how to breathe. We breathe like this, and that is stress. We only fill half of the lung when we breathe in that manner. If we look at a baby or a small child, the child breathes like this. No strain, no stress. How is it done? We can take through the mouth or through the nose, but basically we fill the lungs fully, and the lungs push out the ribs. Now I'd like you all to put your hands on your back ribs and take a breath very slowly, doesn't matter, and just see, this is the diaphragmatic muscle here. This is the diaphragm. The diaphragm supports all the air coming up when we sing or when we speak. So take a breath and see if your ribs come out and if the diaphragm expands a little bit. Breathe. Hold. And don't let the ribs crush in. And now let go. Let all the air out and see if the ribs come down. And again, breathe. Hold. So we have an idea of the breath. The next thing is how to open this body consciousness to receive the new music through Om. Now, it is not from below that we are singing. We are not singing bhajans to the divine. We are not chanting to the divine. It's very different. We are becoming receptacles for the divine to sing through us. His music of beauty, of love, and of transformation. How to do it? Well, we have to prepare the body. As an athlete will exercise, we must exercise the body. The voice, the breath, the jaw, the tongue, and it's all right. You have more chairs? We have some more chairs? You can bring them in, it's all right. So, the first way we begin this preparation is by old traditional methods of classical singing, knowing how the breath moves and knowing how to use the different parts of the body, because it is a study in the development of the body consciousness. And this music is going into the cells of our bodies. So how do we do this? The first thing is we always hum. We have 2 vocal cords, only 2 given for our entire life. And if we damage those cords, we can't speak. Certainly we can't sing anymore. So we don't want to do any harm. And the first way to warm up these vocal cords is to hum. And I will give one exercise now. I will give the exercise first, and then we'll begin. So it's very simple. Here it is. No cell phones, please.
Switch off कर दो.
Switch off कर दीजिए cell phone. बताइए.
All में please switch off this mobile.
Switch off करना ना हो तो बारी में बैठे.
Once again, the exercise. And the next one, we go up a half step. Yes, that's good. Good. Because all are welcome. All are the Lord's children. And there are no wrong notes. How can we judge another person's aspiration to the divine? How can we judge their offering to the divine? So what if the note is not exactly correct? It no longer matters to me. Every soul is welcome who wants to participate in this collective experience. Because most of our experiences are individual. We sit before the samadhi, we sit before their photo, and we meditate. Even when we're in a group and we meditate, we are within ourselves. Here, we are asked to recognize, or at least to believe, if we cannot recognize, that we are one body, the mother's body. If we can even begin to feel it. And how many of you know of Nolini? Nolini Kantagupta. So many of you have heard of Nolini Kantagupta. He was one of my inner guides. for a long time, and a friend, an elder brother, almost I would say a father to me. And he told me and my wife one day the following. He pointed to my wife and he said, "Your body." And he pointed to me and he said, "And your body." And then he pointed to himself and he said, "And my body." We think they are different bodies. They are not. They are all her body. She has put a part of herself into each of us. The mother is in each of us. Only sometimes we have a glimpse, perhaps an insight, but she is there in each one of us. As Sri Aurobindo is present right now, but we may not see him, we may only momentarily feel him or glimpse something of his presence, but I tell you, when we begin the Om, they are with us. So we are one body. In Savitri he says a harp of many strings. And we will sing as one body, listening with the inner listening to each other, concentrated, but not wrapped up in ourselves, but selfless, open to her, open to the new music and the new world that has already descended with the sacrifice of Sri Aurobindo's body, and then the mothers, so they could universalize the work more intensively. Next exercise is the use of the diaphragm. Ha, 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 ha. Let's try to catch the note by very careful hearing and then reproduce it exactly. Ah, 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 ah. Now, our body parts have habits, and they've developed often bad habits, such as talking too much. But the mouth likes to work. In the exercise ha, the mouth should not move at all. Ha, 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 ha. Now we'll find our mouths moving like anything, but they don't have to move. Ha. But the more you can open your mouth, the more sound will come out with the same effort. So let's go. You see the difference. The difference, I mean, we have a whole choir here now. Just by opening the mouth. Yes, yes, much better. Now we begin to feel that the body is sort of getting some exercise. We're working these different parts. It's an education in body consciousness. Why does the jaw have to go up and down? Why does the tongue get stuck way back in our throat? No, the tongue should sit lightly against the back of the lower teeth. Can we do that? Open your mouth and let the tongue sit lightly against the back of the lower teeth. Yes, yes. Now you see, when you do that, then all the sound can come through without being obstructed. But if you swallow your tongue and raise it up like that, it's blocking the sound. So it may not feel so comfortable at first, but eventually you'll see it's the way to do it. Suddenly we have three times the voice that we had 10 minutes ago. Isn't it interesting? This slow teaching of the body, what it must do to receive the new music. So now we've done some exercises, and I don't want to tire you with too many exercises, but I want to tell you a bit about the descent of Om. And if there is someone here who will give me their email address, who can send emails to all of you, I have collected from all of Sri Aurobindo's books everything he has said on Om. And a friend has done the same with all that Mother has said on Om. And I can email that to you, so you can share that here. And it is very powerful. In fact, in one place, Mother says, Om is the signature of the Lord God. And she says to Shobhadi, the singer in the ashram, anytime you are feeling down or ill or sad, begin to sing Om and everything will go. All of it will disperse. So I sing Om all the time. If a fan is on and it has a sound, I sing with the fan. If the refrigerator is making a sound, I sing Om with the refrigerator. Because I feel that these instruments, these components, these appliances, whatever they may be, perhaps they are singing Om also. And I'll give you a very interesting example. I was sent recently a recording of crickets. Crickets. A sound we don't like at all. They slowed, and the cricket's life is very short, huh? A few days or a couple of weeks. They extended this to a human life, slowing down the cricket sound. And it was an Om choir. I could not believe it. It was so beautiful. These crickets were singing Om at our human pace. And it's so beautiful. And that I think I can send also to anyone who's interested. So, all right, now, what are the difficulties and challenges of the Om choir? Well, the first one, of course, is one of the most difficult, and that is to forget ourselves. And to let the music come through without the intervention of the mind, saying, oh, it has to be like this. But it's not Eastern music. It's not Om, Om. It's not Western music. Mother said it's a new music. A new music appearing for the first time on the earth. First time. And that music has such a power. You will hear it today. You'll hear it today as one body. So the first thing is selflessness. Because it is not a stage for a beautiful singer to be singing. No, 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 no. No matter how beautiful their voice may be. It is a collective opening by a sacred body, this sacred body here, to receive what the Lord is sending down. And the third thing is very difficult. An inner listening whereby we aspire, we attempt, we try progressively, and it takes a long time to listen to each other's inner being, to merge with each other's inner being in a true collective body and receive it as one body. I begin with a passage from Savitri, and then a voice from somewhere, and it doesn't matter from where, any one of you will feel something, perhaps, of the music descending, begins. Om. Immediately you will find all of us are singing with you, singing that Om. So it doesn't matter who starts. It doesn't matter if there are wrong notes, because there are no wrong notes. You offer all you can offer, making the Om as beautiful an offering as you can. In other words, not oh, 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 but oh. We try to make it such a thing of beauty. We offer this to the Mother in Sri Aurobindo, and the music will descend. So we could have some lights, a little less. I'm going to begin with some passages from Book 1, the book Beginnings, Canto 4, The Secret Knowledge. This is what we do. Someone reads a passage, because now I'm saying that I feel you're going to have an Om choir regularly. No matter if there are 2 or 3 or 4 people, doesn't matter. Numbers never mattered to Mother. Only our sincerity of our aspiration. So, to read a few lines from Savitri lifts the collective aspiration immediately. Because it is mantra. Savitri is mantra. Then the Om begins. And it continues a while, but we never know how long it continues, because there's a moment when the collective body feels that the descent has taken place, and we are silent in concentration for some moments, and then another passage is read. So generally I have found that 1 hour is the maximum, because the intensity is so great. So we sing 3 Oms seated, and the last Om we stand. Because when we stand, the body is in the most receptive position. But as some of us are getting a little older, myself, but not too much, because I'm still young, as our doctor is still very young here. And 1 hour is plenty, with exercises in the beginning, and I can also send you some exercises. We've only done a couple of this morning. There are many that we can do to warm up the instrument. Then, at the end of the 4th Om, when we are standing, and it comes to a conclusion, we sit down and have a concentration for some minutes. Our early approaches to the infinite are sunrise splendors on a marvelous verge, while lingers yet unseen the glorious sun. What now we see is a shadow of what must come. The earth's uplook to a remote unknown is a preface only of the epic climb of human soul from its flat earthly state to the discovery of a greater self and the far gleam of an eternal light. is important not to have any fear, no hesitation. But I say that with a caveat, because even if you don't sing and would like to participate in the Om choir silently, with a prayer, or concentration, or to meditate, you are welcome. To be in this vibration is a very special blessing. I think we are beginning to feel it already. The peace, the calm, an inner, radiant, quiet joy pervades the atmosphere. Remember that any one of you can begin the Om, as we are all one, so don't hesitate in your offering. The Master of Existence lurks in us and plays at hide and seek with his own force. In nature's instrument loiters secret God. The immanent lives in man as in his house. He has made the universe his pastimes field, a vast gymnasium of his works of might. All-knowing, he accepts our darkened state. Divine, wears shapes of animal or man. Eternal, he ascends to fate and time. Immortal, dallies with mortality. two things to work on. One of those is, and I fully appreciate that you might be a little tired, but not to stop the descent. Some voices should be continuing all the time, and if other voices need to take a break and take a breath, fine. But let us carry on the Om. Let it flow, 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 flow down through the body. See, we're saying Om, and then we're stopping, and then we're starting again, stopping and starting again. Let us try to have that continual descent. And the second thing is to open ourselves more. And if we feel the music moving in us, not to hold on to one note, but to allow a whole symphony of notes to come through the body. It is left up to each person. Some may just want to sing one note. Others may want to sing many notes. I say sing. What I mean, of course, is to allow those notes to come through our voices. So those two things are very important. Let us try to continue the Om until it comes to completion, in and through us. Unmeasured breadths and depths of being are ours. Akin to the ineffable secrecy, mystic, eternal in unrealized time, neighbors of heaven on nature's altitudes. To these high-peaked dominions, sealed to our search, too far from surface nature's postal routes, too lofty for our mortal lives to breathe, deep in us, a forgotten kinship points, and a faint voice of ecstasy and prayer calls to those lucent, lost immensities. Even when we fail to look into our souls, or lie embedded in earthly consciousness, still have we parts that grow towards the light. Yet are there luminous tracts and heavens serene, and Eldorados of splendor and ecstasy, and temples to the Godhead none can see. stand for the last time. Remember what we spoke of in the beginning, of blending our voices into one voice. This last Om was very, very, very beautiful because we opened more and you could feel it. You could feel something, a touch of this new music descending to this holy body. So, blending and perfection of sound of Om. Make it the most beautiful Om you can offer to the body. He will come down even more beautifully his response. The revealing force sweeps blazing in. Out of some vast, superior continent, knowledge breaks through, trailing its radiant seas. And nature trembles with the power, the flame. A greater personality sometimes possesses us, which yet we know is ours. Or we adore the master of our souls. Then the small bodily ego thins and falls. No more insisting on its separate self, losing the punctilio of its separate birth. It leaves us one with nature and with God. In moments when the inner lamps are lit and the life's cherished guests are left outside, our spirit sits alone and speaks to its gulfs. A wider consciousness opens then its doors, invading from spiritual silences. A ray of the timeless glory stoops a while to commune with our seized, illumined clay, and leaves its huge white stamp upon our lives.